Hello, my name is Nathan Starzinski, and this is the tour of my bike that I took on my 41,500 kilometer journey around the world. This is my bicycle. It's a 2021 Surly Disc Trucker, 56 centimeter frame size, chromalloy steel frame running a classic touring setup. I have two 20-liter Ortlieb back roller classic panniers, two 12.5-liter Ortlieb sport roller free panniers, an Ortlieb Ultimate 6 handlebar bag, and a Bontrager frame bag. The front rack is a Surly front rack, and the rear rack is a Tubus Cargo Evo, both of them in chromalloy steel. My drivetrain is 3x9 with classic derailleur. At the front, I use Shimano Alivio crankset with 48, 36, and 26 cogs. The rear cassette is 11:34, meaning the entire drivetrain is capable of gear ratios from 0.76 to 4.36. My brakes are TRP Spires with mechanical activated calipers and a 160mm disc rotor size. I use Black Spire flat pedals, which I far prefer for their comfort and versatility. My handlebars are the stock Surly truck stop bars with Shimano Sora shifters. And of course I'm riding on the comfort of the legendary Brooks B17 saddle. As I frequently ride into the late hours of the night, it's necessary to have a lighting system that's reliable and always available with power. I use a Son 28 36H hub dynamo system with a Son Edelux 2 front light and a Bush & Muller top light line brake plus rear light. This is a wonderful system that allows me to ride indefinitely into the dark. The front light has a wonderful beam pattern that focuses light onto the road while preventing it from shining into the eyes of pedestrians and cyclists while on multi-use pathways. The helmet that I used on the trip was a Bontrager Wavecell Rally. That had to be retired at the end, and this is what I've got to replace it. The mountain bike style helmet helps keep me safe in rough terrain, and the visor keeps the sun out of my eyes. I used plenty of different tire combinations in the journey, some for less than 1,000 kilometers, and some well past their intended lifespan. This is a list of the ones I remember. The frame bag is where I keep all my tools and supplies to repair almost any mechanical issues that may have happened along the journey. One of my most used tools is the multi-hex key set. This can be used to adjust everything on the bike, including the bolts, brake calipers, and even to remove the pedals. It also has a Phillips and flathead screwdriver. I carry spare brake and derailleur cables in case one of those snaps, spare spokes, zip ties, very handy in multiple situations, the seat cover for my Brooks saddle for when it rains, a micro hand pump compatible with Presta and Schrader valves, an Autolock cinch lock, a fantastic lightweight bike lock. It won't stop any motivated attempts to steal the bike, but is great to prevent snatch and grabs, and it operates off a simple 3-digit combination. I have a Sinewave Revolution USB system that hooks into my Dynamo setup. I don't use it very much anymore, as I find that power banks and general charging are much more efficient, but it's still great to have as an emergency backup. Multiple sets of instant stick tube repair patches, which I find to be much more quick and efficient than rubber patches. And of course, always 2 spare tubes. A spare set of chain links that I luckily never ended up needing, and 3 tire levers, the most important of which is the wolf tooth metal tire lever, necessary when the tire is really stuck on there. It also has space to store spare chain links inside. I have a multi-spoke wrench, spare spoke nipples, a press-to-Schrader valve converter, spare valve cap, a cassette tool, a chain tool, and a pair of pliers. Although not shown, I always carry a bottle of chain lube, usually wet lube, and a cleaning rag for my chain. Of course, I've patched or replaced dozens of tubes along the way, but I've also had some ridiculous repairs, such as replacing bottom bracket bearings by stuffing it with a mango peel, or fixing a broken pawl spring by tying the pawls together with sewing twine. I of course carry a first aid kit, which luckily I never had to use very much, beyond the occasional bandage and usage of polysporin. I won't go into too much detail here, it should be pretty self-explanatory. Inside the handlebar bag, I carry everything that I might need at a moment's notice while riding the bike. First up is the GoPro for spontaneous filming moments. A pair of sunglasses, wallet, a set of Aeropex Aftershokz bone conduction headphones, which are great for riding while listening to music or podcasts and still being able to hear traffic around you. A buff, an additional rear light with flashing capability, and a bunch of other miscellaneous stuff, often including sewing twine, Vaseline or lip balm, sunscreen, bear spray, spare straps, extra parts, brake pads, microfiber cloths, patch kits, which roam around in my kit, and of course, my passport. Canadian passport. It's important to have a bag that is easily accessible for everyday needs, and I find this is fantastic for that. But most importantly, it's a great place to keep the snacks that I bring along the way. I've also carried different items at different times, such as a Katadyn water filter for when traversing through Central Asia, and a Garmin InReach that I luckily never needed. Living on a bike for 2 years, it's important to have clothes that suit my cycling needs, my sleeping needs, and my daily needs, and also to cover temperatures from -10 to +47 degrees. First of all, the jersey. This is my everyday cycling shirt. At first I had a full zip jersey for the first 3/4 of it, but that got replaced in Vietnam after I crashed. I have 2 pairs of chamois cycling shorts. One pair of long pants that I use for cycling in colder temperatures or for around camp. One pair of cargo shorts that I use for walking around or daily life in hot climates. A long sleeve Arc'teryx polyester shirt that I use for cycling in very cold weather or for a daily camp shirt. Loose fitting long johns for cold weather, around camp, or laundry day. A pair of nice pants, primarily cotton with a touch of spandex, great for days off or for going out on the town. A long sleeve button-down collared shirt for rest days or for social events. And of course, perhaps the most important item in the kit, another long sleeve button-down collared shirt, exclusively for singing karaoke. A short sleeve patterned silk shirt that I picked up in Southeast Asia for the warmer climates. And a second cotton shirt, also for the warmer climates. I have 2 pairs of polyester underwear that I use for active use. and 2 pairs of cotton underwear for sleeping or comfort on rest days. And finally, a pair of underwear exclusively for off days, so I can always have something that smells decent. The socks that I've used have changed on the time and the season and the amount of holes they develop, but I typically carry a range from very thin to very thick. And for the coldest days on the bike, a pair of polyester fleece gloves. These aren't dedicated cycling gloves, but they do the trick when the weather's cold. At least where there's no holes. I carry 4 outer layers, for use in different weather and climate conditions, and for use when getting off the bike and resting at camp. The first is a polyester Sherpa brand hoodie. It's extremely comfortable, and I exclusively use it for resting at camp or for days off. A long-sleeve Patagonia fleece, which can be used for versatile weather conditions and cycling in moderate temperatures. A thin Patagonia down jacket, which I can use for cycling in colder temperatures or layer with the fleece for the coldest days. Finally, I have a lightweight Montbell rain jacket. This is the second rain jacket that I used, and I only bought it about 2 months before finishing. The first rain jacket that I had wasn't very functional, and I almost never used it. This was a great investment. In the drawstring bag, I keep my swim gear. I love to go for a beautiful swim whenever I have the chance, so the swimsuit is a very important piece of gear. And of course, a full-size microfiber towel for drying off after swimming or in hostels. I carry 2 types of footwear. I prefer trail running shoes for their versatility and stability while cycling with flat pedals, as well as their ability to switch up and walk around a city. And secondly, my pair of trusty sandals, which get used for cycling only when the temperature is about above 40 degrees, but primarily for camp and comfort. Certain clothes have also come and gone along the way. In the hot deserts of Central Asia, I picked up white cotton long shirt and pants. The pants were great for cycling through the desert, and the shirt helped me all the way through Central Asia. My cooking setup is fairly simple, as I prefer to eat out at local restaurants or cook simple meals at camp. I have a combined spoon and fork, case for the stove, 2.5 liter MSR pot scrubber, isobutane fuel, pot lid, bowl, pocket knife, MSR pocket rocket stove, and a mug. Everything except the fuel bottle nests inside the pot. I keep my toiletry kit together in a small bag for ease of access and organization. I keep toothpaste, a toothbrush, moisturizer, a small bottle of fragrance, a razor, products for my hair and beard, and floss. Although I don't have them shown here, I would also keep tweezers, nail clippers, a stick of deodorant, and some other general supplies. To me, one of the most special aspects of bikepacking is being able to spend the night in incredible places, solo in the tent, in beautiful places under canopies of billions of stars. So of course, a functional camp setup is incredibly important. My tent is a Big Agnes Copper Spur HVUL2 bike pack, the body of which fits inside this bag. The tent fly I keep in this 13-liter Sea to Summit dry bag, important to keep separated from when it's wet, to wait until the middle of the day when it's sunny to dry it out. The tent poles are short stick poles, and at only 30 centimeters long, they're really easy to fit inside a small pannier. Although the tent is freestanding, I like to be able to pitch out the fly in all 4 directions, and I keep 5 pegs just to have 1 spare. For the Canada section of my journey, I had a Mech Spark 2 tent that lived in a dry bag under the handlebars on my bicycle. I'd already had this tent for 6 years before starting the journey, and it had been my home for hundreds of spectacular nights. It finally met its end due to 50-knot gusts of wind in Newfoundland. I can't emphasize enough just how important it is for me to be able to camp the night in spectacular places, and I'm so happy to have a cozy and reliable home in spots like this. The air mattress that I used starting after Canada is a Sea to Summit Etherlite XT. This mattress is incredibly comfortable with its thick cells and can even be inflated with its multi-purpose stuff sack. This mattress did develop a lot of holes that I eventually was unable to fix, and I ended up sleeping on a Thermarest Z-Lite for the last quarter of my journey until I could get the mattress warranty repaired. My sleeping bag is a Mountain Equipment Co-op sleeping bag that I've had since I was an early teenager. It was originally rated for about -12, but probably functions somewhere between -5 and -10 right now. It's reel down and is an incredibly comfortable mummy bag. I don't carry an extra pillow and instead form a pillow out of my fleece, my hoodie, and my down jacket. This is incredibly comfortable and effective. It's quite a comfortable pillow, just like the airplane neck pillow. You can adjust obviously on demand, bring your head in close, and yeah, that works great. I also have a 1-liter Nalgene bottle that I fill up before heading to camp or on long remote sections of cycling. All of this setup functions incredibly well together to form a home in some of the most spectacular places on this beautiful planet Earth. For electronics, I have my laptop, a bag for large cables and hard drives, and a case for smaller cables. Inside the case, I have sensor swabs for my camera, a Rode lavalier mic for recording voiceover, AirPods, a power converter for my MacBook charger, the charging cable for my Garmin watch, miscellaneous cables, including USB-C, another USB-C, Lightning, and a magnetic cable for charging my phone, which no longer functions with the Lightning cable. I also have a polarizing filter for my camera and some miscellaneous GoPro supplies. Inside this bag are stored loose cables and hard drives. First of all, I have a 5-way multi-USB charger. This is an incredible piece of kit, which optimizes amperage for each device and allows me to charge my multiple electronic devices at the same time. By the end of 2 years, I had shot 22 terabytes of photos and videos, and I was traveling with 5 or 6 backup hard drives. Although these are heavy, they're a lot cheaper than SSD drives, and great for making multiple backups. I have a universal power adapter to convert my Type A and B cables into other countries' plug types. The charger for my MacBook, 2 dual chargers for my camera batteries, and a computer mouse. Inside the laptop case, I keep, of course, my laptop and some working hard drives. This is a M1 Max MacBook Pro. I have a 4 terabyte SSD work drive and 2 cables for the hard drives. I began the journey with 2 20,000 mAh power banks, which can keep me going off the grid for about a week, and I added another 10,000 mAh power bank along the way. The watch that I use is a Garmin Fenix 3 HR. It tracks my distance and my GPS track, and it can also tell the time. I love to be able to capture the journey on camera and capture cinematic videos of my experiences around the world. My primary camera is a Sony a7S III. This is an incredible mirrorless camera designed for video shooting and low-light operation. It has a 12 megapixel sensor and captures 4K footage at 24 FPS 100 megabits per second or 120 FPS 200 megabits per second. The swivel screen makes the monitor easy to see from high or low angles. It has a dual SD card slot, and I usually use two cards, one high-speed for video recording and a second for time-lapse photography. In the front, I have a 2-400 variable ND filter to keep my motion smooth while video recording. And my primary lens for 90% of my shots is the Sony 24-70 f4. I wear an Osprey Talon 6 hip pack to keep my camera gear easily accessible for filming and shooting, and to keep it safe from vibration when cycling on bumpy roads. In the primary compartment, I normally fit the camera and two other lenses, the first of which is a Sony 20mm 1.8. This is fantastic for night shooting, and the large aperture combined with the high ISO performance of the a7S III means the camera can basically see better than my eyes in the dark. The second lens is a 50mm 2.8 macro lens. This one I rarely used, but I still love to pull it out on the special occasion to get some very unique perspectives. This lens case lives inside one of my panniers and contains my telephoto lens. This is a Sony 70-300mm f4.5 to 5.6. Although bulky, this is a spectacular lens, perfect for wildlife, long scenic shots, and it's even good at macro. Inside the outer compartment of the hip pack, I keep a rocket blower to clean dust off my camera sensor. I also have quite a substantial collection of camera batteries. In total, I carry 7 of them. A lens pen and microfiber wipe help me keep the front of my lenses clean, and a roll of duct tape can come in handy for pretty much any situation. This case also lives in one of my panniers and contains the drone and its accessories. The remote controller is the DJI RC. The drone is the DJI Mini 3 Pro, which at 249 grams is very lightweight and a lot easier to deal with foreign regulations. I have a multi-charger for the batteries and a total of 4 batteries, 2 regular capacity and 2 high capacity. I also have a small case with drone ND filters from ND8 to ND128. I love to be able to fly and capture incredible perspectives of our world from the sky. The action camera that I use is a GoPro Hero 12 Black, which replaced the GoPro Hero 10 Black that I broke partway along the journey. It's fantastic for on-the-fly, point-of-view filming while cycling, especially in instances like going downhill, where I don't want to stop and set up a camera and go back around to film myself. It's also incredible in adverse weather conditions, and of course, for vlogging and talking to the camera. The tripod that I used is a Geodos carbon fiber tripod. It's got a standard 3-leg and center stick setup with a ball head. Although it's now reached the end of its travel life, this tripod was incredibly effective and great for being able to set up the camera and take spectacular shots while riding around the world. The original microphone that I used was a Rode Stereo Video Mic Pro, and although I don't have a clip of it here, I've since replaced it with the Sennheiser MKE 440. So that's everything that I brought with me on my 41,500 kilometer 2-year journey around the world. If I've left anything out, I'll add it in the comments below. Thank you, and happy riding.